Hello folks, now I'm in the kitchen. I have my menu and I'm going to do some cooking. The last thing on this menu for a 7-day menu is Popeye spinach souffle. So I'm going to work on that today, and also the butternut squash that I mashed up. I think I'm going to work with that first and then the spinach souffle. So got a couple dishes I'm going to use with the butternut squash. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to boil some water to cook the noodles. Okay, I'm going to salt the water a little bit there. Got the butternut squash measured out. I've got 1.5 cups. Now, I'm going to use a cup for this, the cheesy noodles. I'm going to use 1/2 cup for the pumpkin pancakes that I'm making. All right, my pan of water is boiling, so I'm going to add the noodles. Couple handfuls there, maybe. There we go. I won't be eating much of this. My husband will be eating most of the cheesy noodles because I'm a low gluten girl. We'll let that cook for about 10 minutes. In the other pan, I have 2 tablespoons of margarine. I'm going to melt that down. I'm just going to add about 1 tablespoon of flour and whisk that in to make a little roux, a thickening agent. But because the butternut squash is already the bulk of this recipe and it's thick, I won't need as much as what I normally do for macaroni and cheese, for regular macaroni and cheese. Now I'm going to add some milk. I'm going to grab the milk. That should be enough. And turn up the heat. Add a little salt and pepper. I'm not going to add onion. We'll try to reserve our onions. Okay. Little garlic powder. That will really flavor it. And a little apple cider vinegar. There we go. Mix that in. See if this is going to be thick enough. If not, I can use cornstarch or some more flour. I'm going to add some cheese and melt that down. It's just a few ounces. I'm making a cheese sauce. And I'm going to add, getting ready to add the butternut squash. Okay, turn it down on low. Let that cheese melt. And I didn't shred the cheese. I just cut it in little pieces. I just kind of crumbled it like. I'm going to go ahead and add the butternut squash. There we go. Get that in there. Mash that around. We're almost done. It doesn't take long at all. It's pretty thick. I need to add a little more milk. Okay, let's stir that in. As far as how much milk I used, I just eyeballed it. Oh, I would say about 2/3 cup altogether. These noodles are done. I'm going to turn them off. Come over here. Woo! Lots of steam coming up. Good for the sinuses. Let's give the squash cheese sauce a taste test. Whew, that's hot. Oh, it's tasting good. It needs a little more garlic powder. So I'm going to add that. Okay. Maybe a little more apple cider vinegar. You know what? I'm going to use more sharp cheese. That will flavor it. It's going to be on top for like a garnish. Okay. Turned off the burner. It's a nice consistency. Perfect, actually. Not too thin, not too thick. I seasoned it with some more salt. Okay, now I'm gonna add my noodles. This is how quick and easy. This didn't take long at all. And stir that around. And that's my husband's cheesy noodles that looks like mac and cheese a little bit and tastes like it, but even healthier and better. Okay, this is a do-ahead meal for a couple days from now probably, or maybe tomorrow. I'll serve this for my husband. So we'll put that in a container. Oh, there's lots of extra cheese. Now I'm going to use the rest of this and put some rice with it for my own dish. Okay, I don't need much cheese because I'll put sriracha on it. Make my tummy hurt, but that's okay. I'm addicted to that stuff. All right, this has plenty of cheese, but I'm going to make it even cheesier. I have some shredded cheese here that I just shredded it. Okay, there we go. It's beautiful. This just looks like the cheesiest mac and cheese you can get a hold of. But yet the main component is butternut squash. Wonderful and much healthier than regular mac and cheese. I used a lot less butter, I can assure you. I'm going to add all the wet ingredients first. The butternut squash puree. Get all of that out of there. The milk. And the vinegar. Ooh, I may have gone over a tablespoon. Okay. And I'm going to beat the egg in this first. I'm using a whole egg. This is just half a recipe, but I'm using a whole egg for this, for extra protein. And we got plenty of eggs right now. We don't have a shortage of eggs, that's for sure. Okay, let's mix that up. Then I'm going to whisk in my flour and brown sugar. I'm just going to mix my dry ingredients in this large measuring cup. So I got the brown sugar, that's the baking powder. Now I'm going to measure out my spices. Okay, there's ginger. Just going to use the rest of that cinnamon. There, that's not quite a tablespoon or a teaspoon. And then the allspice, 1/4 teaspoon. Okay. Yeah, that cinnamon was supposed to be half a teaspoon. I'm not even sure it was that, but we'll do fine with that. I think it will be fine. I just wanted to empty out that bottle. I'm going to be cleaning out my spices because some of them are way outdated. They don't have any flavor at all. So I think that's all the dry spices. So, and I already added salt. Let me get a measuring spoon. Not a measuring spoon, a regular spoon, and stir this up. And then I'm going to add it to the wet mix, which I'm going to be whisking in. Okay. Right. I'm going to go ahead and start whisking. And then I'm going to get my my griddle ready, my pan ready with my oil. Everything looks like it's fully combined, so I'm going to get my griddle ready. Just going to add a little bit of oil. Griddle is sizzling, so it's time to start laying out the pancakes in the hot oil. I'm making them big. I'll just have to use the larger baggies for these. They're done. I'm going to put them on my famous green platter, lime green platter that I keep in my pantry cabinet. I have a large closet, actually, a pantry closet. But I'm going to add a little bit more oil. That's not enough for the next batch. All right. I'm going to go ahead and start doing my another batch. Oh boy, that's a big one. The next one is going to be super big. I'll make that one even bigger. I turned them over already. Boy, that was fast. The skillet is hot. These babies are done. Oh boy. They're big. Here's my large stack of pancakes. We may be cutting those in half, freezing some of them for sure in little baggies. Can't wait for my husband to wake up from his nap and see this. I'm getting ready to make the souffle, the spinach souffles. I'm going to make 2 eggs instead of 1. I'm using a recipe from All Recipes. It didn't get the best rating, but I'm going to try it anyway. It's All Recipes Easy Spinach Souffle. And I'm using canned spinach, so I got to drain it out or it will be a mess. The chances of this rising are very slim, but I'm going to try it and see what happens. I'm using a can of Popeye chopped spinach, which does not have as much water as the other kind of spinach. There's 2 different kinds. One's chopped and one's leaf spinach. The leaf spinach has more liquid from my experience, but I'm going to drain this. Just pressing down the spoon. And when I lift this up, I can see the liquid is coming out. So that's a good thing. These are the casserole dishes I'm using. So my husband and I will each get like a large ramekin of souffle. And spray them. It didn't say to spray them, and I'm going to spray them. This is all the ingredients the souffle calls for. So I've got the 2 eggs already in a bowl. I'm going to be whisking them with the milk and the other ingredients. It just calls for a little bit of salt and pepper. I'm using, I don't have fresh Parmesan cheese, and powdered Parmesan will not work. I read that online. It's not a good idea. So I've got milk and minced garlic. And the spinach, of course, which is quite a bit. It looks like quite a bit. It's very condensed. One person said online they used 2 eggs instead of 1, but they didn't say they doubled the recipe. So we'll see how this goes. It's pure experimental. Just going to put everything in the bowl except for the spinach right now and start whisking away. I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bit of salt and pepper. Right. If we don't have enough, we'll just salt it after it's done. Start whisking here. I'm going to fold in the spinach. Fold this in. This actually calls for frozen spinach that is thawed and drained. So I'm not too far off the mark here. It didn't call for fresh spinach, but you can use fresh spinach. My oven preheated at 350. And I'm going to put this in the bowls. This is not going to rise probably, but I don't really care. It's a healthy dish. It's more spinach than anything with a little bit of egg. So I'm going to split this between these 2 bowls. Here's what they look like. This is the before I put them in the oven. I'll tell you something in a moment about these. They remind me of something from back in the 70s. Back in the 70s, there was late 60s and 70s, there was a movement not to eat meat. I had a cousin, she considered herself, she became a vegetarian. She gave up meat, but she did eat eggs and cheese and quite a bit of it. So that's what this dish reminds me of. Something from back in the 70s at a vegetarian restaurant. So this is healthy. And it does have cheese and eggs. So it offers not only protein from the spinach, but protein from the eggs and the cheese. And calcium too from the cheese. So I'm really glad about that. And a little bit of milk, not much, but a little bit of milk and garlic for flavor. Yes. So I put them in the oven, and they're going to bake for about 20 minutes. So we'll see how this turns out. I can't wait to see the after. We saw the before, then we'll see the after. Cannot stress the importance of eating more fruits and vegetables. I encourage all of you to join this effort to eat healthier. And there's other things too that I'd like to talk to you about. But right now I got something on my mind. But protein's important, and so a non-meat item that is used for lots of desserts that has plenty of protein, is peanut butter. I'm going to pull out my Buckeye peanut butter candy dough. So here's my dough, and I'm going to put these gloves on. Yeah, because it's going to be messy. I'm going to try to make those heart shapes. At least get the heart shapes made. I doubt if I have time on this video. It'll be too long if I, melted chocolate. These are just so big, but I'll try to work with them without the rubber bands. I just broke a rubber band. Okay, let's see what we can do. I've had this idea and I don't even know if it's going to work. I just washed my hands. I'm just going to use my hands. I was able to perfect this one, but it took time with the gloves. Okay. And I just washed my hands. I want to make them a little smaller than that. Okay, just shape them. Have fun with them. The kids will like this, but we all should have gloves. I need to get order some gloves. I'm going to check online. If you have any recommendations for me, I don't want black. That creeps me out. Here's what I came up with, and some of them are shaped very well. This is more of the ideal size here. Yeah, these right here. These are, oh, this one's nice, a little thin, and these are rather large here. So I just worked with it any way I could. But if I could roll it out while it's still partly frozen before it gets too soft, roll it out and use a cookie cutter. That might work. I have some extra dough. I might work with this another time, real soon. I'm going to put these in the freezer and let them harden like that. And I said it might go over 20 minutes, and it is. I want it to brown a little bit on top. And they are starting to rise a little bit, but they are totally green, so totally healthy. Spinach souffles are done. They need to cool a while before I can give them a taste. They did rise a little bit, but they didn't call for baking powder or anything, so it didn't surprise me. It didn't call for any flour. So these are gluten-free, good for me. Now it's cooled a little bit. I'll give the spinach souffle a taste. It's good, but it just tastes like spinach. But I know it's better than that. It's got to cool more so I can taste it better. It's just too hot to really give it a taste test. I like spinach, so I think it's great. Now, you can research what kind of condiment to put on it to make it taste even better. Maybe extra cheese. Maybe there's some kind of mayonnaise-based sauce that would be delicious on it. Whatever you put on eggs Benedict, that might work. Sounds good. I'm thinking of that right now. So I might research that. Yeah, my husband said he didn't have any idea. He's had spinach souffle before, but he doesn't recall any condiment on it besides extra cheese. And you can follow the recipe to a T and use the grated real Parmesan cheese if you like. I just used what I had, and that sharp cheese, because I got the pantry challenge this month, and I'm keeping up with what's going on as far as saving money. That's important. We're using what's in our cupboards, and we're eating as healthy as we can. And it gives us so many healthy options because we're not running to the fast food restaurants or the convenience stores to buy all that junk food. All right then. Thanks for hanging out with me in the kitchen today. God bless each and every one of you. I'll see you in the next one.